when my mind is negative, my body hurts worse. And when I'm able to make my mind be happy and acknowledge the good things, the positive things, whatever I'm feeling, whatever's around me, pick out the positive, and my physical pain diminishes. And I think a lot of people do not understand the relationship between your mind and your pain sensors. They go hand in hand.
Welcome to the Rise, Shine, and Redefine podcast, where entrepreneurship meets purpose, mindset, and the energetic flow of business. I'm Caryn Meininger, your go-to guide and business whisperer, here to help you cultivate the strategies, mindset shifts, and alignment that allow you to rise above the noise and redefine what it means to succeed on your terms. In each episode, you'll discover the tools to create a business and life that feels authentic and powerful. So if you're ready to explore the deeper side of business, let's dive in. Hi, welcome back to the Rise, Shine, and Redefine podcast. We are joined by an incredible guest whose resilience and determination truly embodies the spirit of rising above life's toughest challenges. As a hairdresser since 2008, she experienced a life-changing moment in 2015 when she was diagnosed with MS, which left her paralyzed. Instead of letting this define her, she embraced a journey of growth, integrating her expertise in hair care with newfound insights into how chemicals impact autoimmune health. She has since developed her groundbreaking Herbala hair care company, which includes professional grade products free from harmful ingredients that didn't previously exist in the market. Her story is one of perseverance, innovation, and the constant drive to uplift others. I'm thrilled to dive into Jen Richards' journey, lessons, and inspiring outlook on life. Jen, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. How are we feeling
Hello.
today?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be here. I'm a little bit nervous, but to be expected,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you get to share your story. And it's such a beautiful story and transformation, and really shows other women, moms, entrepreneurs what is possible, and to overcome and be resilient and show up in the world in such a beautiful way. And not only impact yourself, but impact others and
Yes,
and
positively.
positively and change the world. So you are a hairdresser, or you are a hairdresser. And
In my heart,
so how long have you been a
always.
hairdresser? Since 2008? What's that math? Like
It's
20?
a lot of math.
Yeah,
We're
it's a
getting
lot of years. Okay.
we're getting
So
close.
forever. Yeah, forever. And in
Yeah.
2015, everything changed when you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So let's go back to this moment and share what that was like and how it changed for you and what that recovery how did you get the diagnosis? How did you even know? What were the signs?
So when I actually finally obtained my diagnosis, I was paralyzed from my chest down. And that was over the course of a few years, honestly. There were things happening to me, different symptoms I was getting that just I wasn't relating to each other, and neither were my physicians. I had some bouts of vision loss in the months prior to my diagnosis that were treated with steroids, but they never gave me the diagnosis at that time, even though my symptoms were consistent with optic neuritis, which is a very common inflammation of the optic nerves. A lot of people obtain their diagnosis that way. They start having the vision issues, and then your optic nerves get swollen, edema, and then it affects your vision. So usually you can get your diagnosis just by getting that, because it's kind of only something that happens with MSers, that specific optic neuritis. But I didn't. I just got steroids and got sent on my way and kept living my 70-hour a week life of working and being a mom. And I wore myself down. I almost worked myself to death, essentially. It was the week of my wedding when I got diagnosed, and I had gone to a spa with my best friend the weekend prior, and I woke up that Sunday morning, and I had bilateral numbness from my knees down. And then over the course of the next 3 days, it moved up and it stopped about here, mid chest. And so I could feel my arms, my neck, and my face, but everything else was numb. It was still functional. So I wasn't, there's different degrees of paralysis. Like Christopher Reeves had no function, no feeling, no function. I had no feeling, but somehow I could function. They don't really know how, based on like how many lesions were all over my brain and spinal cord, but I was. So I don't think that when I got the diagnosis, it didn't scare me, it didn't alarm me, it relieved me, which is very weird because knowing what I know now, I mean, MS, it's lifelong and it's something that I'm going to have to counteract for the rest of my life. But at least now I know how. I know what's going on inside my body and I know how to care for it to prevent my disease from exacerbating. And before, I just had no answers. There was no reconciliation between all of these symptoms. Why is this stuff happening to me? Because when it's your neurological system that it's affecting, it can literally affect anything in your body. It's just wherever it decides to attack. So it was relieving. And I think a lot of people think that's strange to be relieved with a debilitating diagnosis. But like I said, that was my ground zero. It gave me
Yeah.
a place I could only go up. I literally could only go up because I had to be knocked down really far.
And the first step is awareness, right? It's like
Yes.
once we have the awareness of, oh, okay, it's kind of like blocks too, right? It's like
Yes.
in business or in life or relationships or health and mental, it's like if we don't know we have the block, we can't use that as a stepping stone to go to the next level. So it's like, okay, I have the awareness. Okay,
Yes.
this is my reality. You can't change the reality of it. So you can either choose to use it to be a voice, use it to change, use it to grow, or you can let it beat you down.
You can get bitter or you can get better.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I heard that you can get better, you can get better. I heard that recently actually from my husband's aunt. And I was like, "Oh my god, that is so true." It's like, are you gonna be bitter? Are you gonna be resistant to life and be in this place of suffering?
Hmm.
Or it's like, I don't know if you've heard of Byron Katie, but she has such beautiful work, and she says that suffering is resisting life. And
Yes.
it's like, okay, wait, I can choose to suffer or I can choose to grow and be better and do something about it. And you have a choice on the way that you live.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing is that you were relieved from the diagnosis because now you could change it.
Yeah.
You
And
could
I know.
change your relationship with the diagnosis.
Absolutely. And like, don't get me wrong, there was a long period of time there where I was not well. And it was a lot to climb out of. And there are days of defeat still. I mean, so my best friend actually has MS as well. And so there are days still when I wake up and I call her and same with her and I bawl because I'm like, I just hate this life. I hate that this is it and that I have days like this. And I do. And, I don't want to put up a front like I'm Miss Badass all the time because I'm not.
Oh, you're
I take,
human.
yeah, I take my moment and sit in it when I need to sit in it. I just don't stay there. I can't stay there for my own mental health and for my physical health. When my mind is negative, my body hurts worse. And when I'm able to make my mind be happy and acknowledge the good things, the positive things, whatever I'm feeling, whatever's around me, pick out the positive, and my physical pain diminishes. And I think a lot of people do not understand the relationship between your mind and your pain sensors. They go hand in hand.
Well, it takes 90 seconds for an emotion to move through you. But what happens is we feel it in our body and then we get it in our head.
Hmm.
And now we start thinking about the feeling in our body. So
Hmm.
we're looping and
Hmm.
looping and looping. And like you said, what most people do, right? Is they try to avoid the feeling. They're like, "Oh, I don't like this feeling. I want to avoid it."
Mhm.
So, what do? You start distracting yourself with positivity or other things, or you jump into work, or you jump into other ideas because you're avoiding the feeling. But the moment that you accept the feeling
Mhm.
and you let it move through you and you just be with it
Mhm.
without trying to avoid it, oh, you get to move through it. It's like, now I get to move through this feeling,
Yes.
right?
And it
And
goes
that is
for it
and
goes for so many different everything. It goes for your
yeah,
emotion, like all emotions, whether it's being in pain or it's just an emotional pain or anything. It's important to find a balance between sitting with it and then moving on from it is completely different than avoiding it. And
yeah.
I had
And
to really learn that balance because I think the way growing up, I was not taught to lean into my emotions. I wasn't really taught to feel them as deeply as I feel them. And I think honestly, that probably has a lot to do. I think it's like the two E's, I call them your emotional health. And now I'm having an MS moment and blanking on my other E. La, 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 la. I don't know. We're gonna have to come back to it, girl.
yeah, yeah, no, we can
This
come
was
back to it.
important too. And look at me.
No, look, you're beautiful. You have come over so many challenges, and just celebrate that. We're
I
just gonna
will.
celebrate that, and we have emotional health, and we're good there, and that's so
Oh,
true,
I
and
got it. It's back. You
yes,
ready?
beautiful. Yes. Yes, yes.
Your emotional health and your environmental health. And I think
Yes.
that those two things, thank you for circling back. I think that those two things are so vital in both causing and resolving autoimmune issues. Not only my autoimmune disease, but others as well. I think that emotions and environmental factors play an enormous role in autoimmune conditions. And learning to process my emotions actually made my physical health and my MS improve to the point where my brain scans look different.
Oh, I believe it 1,000%,
It's pretty
right?
cool.
Because it's like what you think about is what
Mhm.
manifests in your life. So it's like, oh, I get to almost reprogram my brain
Mhm.
in a way by fully accepting myself.
Yep.
Because once you accept, it moves through. And
Yes.
that is the way, right? It's like we have to have awareness. Okay, I have the awareness of what is. Now I get to accept this part and all parts, and I get to remove the mind. Like, you're not your mind, right? Your
Mhm.
essence is your essence. And it's like when you start looping, it's like, is this me or is it my mind? It's always your mind, right?
Yep.
Your
Yep.
body is your subconscious, right? And it's like, oh, once we get to be with that part of us in the subconscious body, it's like, oh, okay, that's why you're able to persevere because
Mhm.
you become a master of your body.
Yes.
You really
No
have.
one's ever
And
really said it to me that way, but it's very true.
yeah. And how beautiful is that? And it's like, wait a minute, I can have this really insane diagnosis that could ruin me, or I get to feel into it and I get to do something about it.
It's
Okay.
not gonna win. It might
No.
knock me on my ass from time to time, but usually it's just because I need a timeout and I need to come back to myself. It's like, okay, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not giving yourself what you need. We're gonna slap a little vision loss on you, sit your ass in the corner, go get some steroids, and think about what you've done.
And look how incredible that is that you recognize that
Mhm.
it's serving you. Like,
Oh,
it's
yes.
knocking you down because it's serving you in some way. And for you to be able to recognize and have that awareness that, oh, this knockdown is just telling me I need to rest or I need to go journal or whatever it may be.
Yes.
Like, it's like, I need to just sit with me.
Mhm. Learning to recognize what your body is telling you is one of the most challenging things that I think any being could ever learn, but it's almost vital. It's so important to know what your body's telling you so that you can give it what it's asking for. Don't ignore it. And that's what I did for so long. I ignored the numbness in my legs. I ignored the bouts of nausea out of nowhere. I ignored all these signs that my body was like, girl, we are tired. We are tired. We need rest. And I just kept going because there were bills to pay and, life. And for me, it was, listen, you have to stop this now. You have to stop this now. I was only 26. And yeah, it completely turned everything around. It was like, okay, your life is not going to be about working. Your life is going to be about living. Your life is going, it just changed. Working didn't, it was all that really ever mattered to me before was working and earning a living. And then it was just like, no, there's so many things other than that in this life that I am meant to uncover and explore and contribute because I don't know. I think that the things I was able to give behind the chair to people, both for their physical appearance and emotional, really prepped me for this journey because I'm still doing that. I'm still 100% doing that. It's just on a bigger scale. And I don't get as many direct interactions with people as I did. But now it's people coming up to me at the farmer's market and they've been using my product from one of my salons that retails it up in Madrid and telling me, their post-cancer stories of how their hair came back after chemo. And chemo just wrecks your hair. All of those treatments do. I lost mine from having to do it for my MS. And what she was telling me about the way it grew back and how it's healthier than it's ever been. It came back less gray than it had ever been. And really understanding, I'm getting chills. Really understanding the impact that me, one person, can have on all of these people, women and men, that they're not only is their like internal world being torn apart by illness and disease and medications, but then it's tearing them apart further because their physical appearance has changed so much. And they're just like, I don't even know who the fuck I am anymore. I'm sick. I'm not the same inside. I'm not the same outside. And to be able to develop something that gets that back for them and even brings it back faster and better than it was prior to their illness, I never set out to do that. I never set out to do that. I had no idea that what I was creating was going to create the necessary environment for hair to thrive because I didn't even know how bad the professional products were until I started doing this. I knew they
So
were bad. I didn't know how bad.
okay, so tell me more about hair. Just let's give an education on
Yeah,
regular hair professional products and then how you came up with your hair care product.
absolutely. So the biggest differences between like your store-bought products and your professional products is always going to be the ingredients and how much of them are used in each formulation. So there might be a product at Target that has all of the same ingredients as a professional one, but they're diluted. They're very diluted. And so 90% of it is water. I mean, they can put a drop of something in a full vat of a formula and say that there's shea butter in it, but there's like a drop. And so realizing that and what the actual makeup of these products was, I was like, well, no wonder. I just started to learn things, and I'm like, okay. So the biggest difference with my line, number one, there's no endocrine disrupting in chemicals or ingredients in it. And if people that aren't familiar with what the endocrine system is, that is your hormones. And that 100% affects your hair, your skin, your nails, your reproductive system, which is a huge issue with young women my age and below.
And what
And
about menopausal women?
yes, 100%, all of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of it. And the thing that people don't realize is how much the products we use on our hair and skin get inside of us. Your skin is the largest organ on your body and it absorbs 80% of everything you put on it. Your hair is porous. That it gets, it goes in there. And so slowly over time, it's like you're just exposing yourself to poison, and it's building and it's building and it's building. And if you're using if you're using baby soap on your, on your babies, and you don't know what's in there, their hormones are getting affected from the time they're babies. So that when they are out up into their 20s and ready to have a baby and they start having problems, they don't realize that they've been disrupting their endocrine system just by the products that they've used, because we've never been educated on it. So it's safe for every age group. I'm going to be launching a baby wash soon, but the formulation is very similar. It's just going to be a different fragrance, a little bit softer for baby. But really making sure that people understand what you put up there and on your scalp, it matters. Most formulas are made up of 90% water, like I mentioned before. My base is actually aloe vera, which is a natural surfactant and cleanser. It performs a lot differently. So my 6-year-old's figured it out. So I feel like if she can figure it out, grown people can figure it out. But it takes a little bit of time. It kind of performs more like a dish soap because it's more concentrated with that aloe vera in there. But you want to know the ingredients, or what do you want to know, girl?
Yeah, I mean, share. I really want to hear, how did you come up with the ingredients? That's what I want to
So,
hear.
so I'm not a chemist. I'm a career hairstylist. So I had to do some research into different manufacturers and chemists throughout the country. It was important to me that it be made here. And I started sampling products that they had put together for me. And after I had landed on the formulas that I liked, I started then researching the ingredients that were in there. Obviously, I had researched the manufacturer as a company and knew what their values were, and they directly aligned with mine. They had a whole list on their website of things they will not use and why, which 100% resonated with me. And the crazy thing is, I researched several manufacturers because you don't always go with the first one, right? I totally went with the first one. It was
It's
like,
like when you know, you know.
yeah, it was like it just landed for me. And then so after I fell in love with it and I started having consistency, because another issue for me my whole career and life was I'll go through one bottle of shampoo, but then my hair like stops responding to it and it feels
Oh, I
awful.
have that same problem too.
Well, there's a reason for that. Don't worry.
Oh,
I
wow, we
think
might have to digress. I want to hear about that.
well, you're going to be getting a gift basket after this podcast anyway. So
Are you ready to take your business and life to the next level? If you've been feeling stuck or like you're hustling without seeing the growth you desire, it might be time to step into what you're fully capable of. That's exactly why I created the Level Up Like a Boss signature program. It's designed to help entrepreneurs like you align your actions with your potential, master your inner world, and create a future that feels both purposeful and profitable. In this program, we'll dive deep into mastering belief systems, building self-awareness, and making intentional decisions that move the needle. Imagine finally being in alignment with your vision and your actions. If that resonates, head to my website or check out the link in the show notes to learn more about how we can level up like a boss together. So we were just talking about how you came up with the ingredients, how you were researching
yes.
the
So
manufacturers, you found one that really aligned with your values. And I
yes.
just want to say really quickly that values are so important. They're
Mhm.
important at personal values and as a business and personal brand and entrepreneur, because you want to live into your values. If you're living into your values, you're going to be lit up as a
Mhm.
business owner, as a mom, as a personal brand, as your own personal values. When you start living in your values and learning
Yes.
what those are, you get to show up in your full authentic self.
And I
So,
think an important thing to note with that is because you stick to your values and stay in them, things may move slower because you're
yeah,
not going to find yourself. I have followed my intuition largely through this entire process. And if I listen to that, I succeed. If I stray from that, which I haven't yet, but I've come close, And I'm like, oh shit, I know that's going to be a big fail if I do that. And following your intuition, trusting your values. And if you don't feel them or see them in someone who's trying to do business with you, walk away. If you don't feel supported and confident in somebody else that's trying to work with you, walk away. People say don't mix business and personal. I don't agree with that. If I personally get a bad vibe from somebody, I will not do business with them
Yeah,
because
and it's
I
coming back.
just will only work with good humans, you know?
Yeah, and it comes back to being intuitive
Mhm.
and trusting your body, right? Your body knows, and it's like,
Your
"Oh, is this
body
my—"
knows, and if you've got the ick,
Yeah.
walk
Yeah, and
away.
it's like, "Oh, is this my higher self or is this fear?" Right? And, like, a way to discern that is fear makes you feel scared, makes you feel uneasy. Higher
Mhm.
self is an inner knowing. It's easy. You use the ease. I use the ease too. I call it EEE. Is it easy? Does it give you ease? And it's ease or easy,
Mhm.
enjoyment, and the energy, right? If it's
I'm
not
glad you
those.
could remember your E's. Good job.
And if you don't have those 3 E's, you do the 4th E, you exit. It's the same,
Yes.
right? It's the same. So
Yes.
just kinda bringing it back. Okay, so you find the manufacturer that feels really good, it feels in alignment, you align with their values. You're creating
So
this product. I don't wanna leave everyone hanging, so
you're good.
let's
You
bring
brought
it
it back.
back.
You brought the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ADHD girl right
Yeah,
back to it. Okay, so
we're gonna bring
after
it
I
back.
after I got through and I had used it myself for probably about 4 or 5 months without having that drop off where I was like, my hair's not responding to this anymore. It's not getting clean, it's brittle, it's dry. That wasn't happening. And I was like, oh shit. What did I make?
And this is a shampoo? Is this a
Well, at
shampoo?
first it was the shampoo and conditioner. Yep. And so then at that point is when I started having people test it for me. Different friends, clients, different my product is also all hair types, which is unheard of. Coily hair, which is your textured African American hair, fine hair, thick hair, coarse hair. It works on everything. And I had never seen that in the
And kids
entirety of
too.
my career. Kids too. It's not too heavy, it's not too greasy. There is a learning curve to the wash, to the shampoo because it's got that aloe vera base. It's a little bit more difficult to spread and it doesn't have sulfate, so it doesn't suds
Oh,
like
good,
your other
good,
shampoos would.
right.
But it also gives a far superior clean to any other shampoo I've ever used. And I've been doing hair a long time.
And your
So,
hair looks great, by the way, like,
thank you.
it looks light and
And
soft and
that's what
healthy.
this product does. It's just it's bouncy, it's light, but yet it's hydrated and it's healthy. So it's actually the wash and rinse are called it's kind of a play on the company name or Balia. It's Baliance wash, but it's a play on the word balance because it's got moisture and it's got protein. It's got a balanced formulation of everything your hair needs to keep it healthy, to keep that garden thriving and fed and nourished. Whereas other product lines deliberately leave things out or add things into a formula to make your hair thirsty for something else so they can sell it to you. And that's bullshit. And I hated that.
Oh, they're putting you in this gap of, like,
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, your hair needs moisture. Get this deep moisturizing treatment. But then by the time you do that, you've robbed your hair of so much protein that now it's melting off. And then so now you've got to go and you got to buy this protein treatment and you got to do this. No, no. What do you do in a garden? What do you do in a garden? It's like just go back to the basics, give it everything it needs in the same batch, and then it will be balanced. And yeah, I don't know how I did it, but it happened for me. And
well, it happened for everybody.
yes, and the more people that use it, the more different ethnicities that use it, that talk to me about it, I am further and further amazed at my own product. Because again, I didn't set out for it to do the things it's doing. I just wanted people to have something safe to use that
Yeah.
wasn't going to affect them with carcinogens or endocrine disruptors. And what I ended up creating was this like super formula that's just like gold. I don't know. It's
Yeah, and now
amazing.
I can't wait to use it and, like, have
Yeah.
my son use it too because I am a huge believer in holistic health. Like, I will try to shortcut. I do the biohacking. I am here for short-cutting health, and I do believe that 95% of the time, our body can heal itself if it has the proper ingredients or the proper
Yes. Yes,
gardening.
girl.
Right? Like, it needs to have
Yes.
the proper gardening, like, stop putting the chemicals in your body, right?
Mhm.
Stop using the disruptors and the shampoos, the moisturizers, the skincare, the face creams, right? I know as being in my mid-40s, like, I wanna feel I look good. I'm not gonna
Yes.
pretend I don't. Like, I want to keep looking ageless and younger.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and if I can do that by not putting chemicals in my body and keeping my body in I know you call it balance, I like to call it harmony, right? Like, the more harmonious that we feel in our body, the more we can have the mental health, like the cancer patients that you helped, right? It's like, yeah, you can be beautiful on the inside, but there is something about the external that helps us feel better on the inside too. And I'm
100%.
all about insourcing our own worthiness and feeling our best selves. But it's like when we can really like what we see on the inside and the outside and be able to do that without harsh chemicals and big pharma and all of these big brands that don't give a shit about you. They don't. They
Bottom
only
line.
care about money, right?
Mhm.
It's like, "Oh, wait a minute, we can come back to this, like, organic, holistic health. We can start with hair," right?
Yes.
And I'm really excited to try this out because I don't love I mean, I definitely use a brand that I don't think is the best ingredients, but I like how it makes my hair look. But at some point, like you said, it stops working,
Yep.
right? And now you're switching to another brand that has all these other chemicals in it that's now like, "Oh, well, now you need this because it's drying your hair out," and, it goes on and just kinda go down this rabbit hole of constantly trying to course correct the
And I am
different things.
right now, this month, I'm right at 3 consecutive years of using the exact same formula for all style, like my shampoo, conditioner, and my 2 styling products. That's all I've used for the last 3 years
Okay, so
consecutively.
you have shampoo. So let's walk me through how you would use your product. You would shampoo,
Segue.
condition? What?
I said segue.
Yeah.
So I have a shampoo and conditioner that are called the Balliance Wash and Rinse. Pretty standard. The shampoo, as I said, is kind of a different formulation and it does take people a little bit to get used to it. You have to like you can't just like plop it on the crown of your head and expect it to spread. It's not going to do that. So you kind of have to emulsify it in your hands and then do a layer and then start scrubbing up. And then you might have to do another couple pumps and get it on your scalp. And then it's almost going to feel like the shampoo, like, where did it go? Where did it go? And then your instinct is going to be, oh, I need more. You don't need more. Stick your head under the faucet and start scrubbing while you're rinsing. And that's when you're going to start to see a little bit of a suds. And then usually I tell people to shampoo twice just to make sure you get everything because most people don't shampoo every day. So if you need to shampoo twice, that's just going to be up to the individual. You want to shampoo essentially until you get a little bit of the suds and then you're done. But rinse, 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 rinse is the most important thing with that. And then the conditioner apply as normal. And then there's 2 styling products. I've got Split End Elixir and Elevation Essence. Split End Elixir is like a styling cream. It can be intimidating looking, especially I'm looking at your hair and I'm like, oh, a cream would freak you right out because your hair's more fine.
Yeah.
But my hair's actually really, really fine too. I just have a lot of it. So you can use both of these products wet and dry. I put in the Split End Elixir when my hair is wet right out of the dryer. acts as my heat protectant, my smoother, my anti-frizz, all of that. And then I also do my elevation essence, which is a spray. And that's what gives this just insane
Like
lift.
volume.
And yes, and there's no, like, it's not sticky, it's not heavy, it's very, very light, and it can be layered. Then if I wake up, like I did just wash it today, but if it was day 2, I would just wake up. If it was flat, I'd spritz it, I'd run my blow dryer through it, and it's just like again. My best friend uses it as like a texture, like a beach wave spray. So she sprays it on dry. Yeah, but I mean, I only have those 4 products, and there's a couple more that I want to expand on, but it's going to be a small line because there's just, if the right ingredients are there, you don't need a line of 20 products. You just need
No,
a few.
no. And you know what's really interesting is when you have something that works, you're gonna start hearing requests
Mhm.
for different products. People are
I
gonna
am.
want,
I
yeah,
definitely am. When are you getting a dry shampoo? When are you getting a purple shampoo? I'm like, when I get some
right,
money.
right, right. And that's all on your way. So I have another question. Okay, does this help with hair growth? Like, especially for men, right? Like, they have the receding
Yes.
hairlines. Like, is that something
Yes,
that's good for
so
men?
much. And again, that's just another thing that, like, I didn't set out for that. I did not set out for that at all. But when I started doing this was, what year is it? So I launched in 2022. So I started doing all my stuff in 2021, which was right after COVID when everybody was getting vaccines. And there was so much hair shed that I saw in my chair from either getting COVID or from the vaccination. So, and then in addition to the COVID kids, the cancer patients that I've had too that have had to regrow their hair. It was incredible. The couple of clients that I had, they were testing it for me. So it was during that time. And they had just significant hair shed. I mean, they had hairs that were this just it was so thin, and then it was like it was thick up here, and then it was like thin here and stringy, and then they would come back in 4 to 6 weeks, and there was just sprouts. There was just half-inch sprouts all over their head. Like, even like you'll see new growth and stuff up here a lot on the hairline, but I mean, it was in the middle of their head. It was everywhere. And I was just like, what did I do?
Yeah, it sounds like a jackpot. That is awesome.
It
Okay, now
truly, truly.
I'm gonna make my
Yes,
husband.
and my trainer is a huge advocate for Herbalia. I think he's like a 28-year-old male, full beard, he's got a full head of hair, and him and his wife went on vacation one weekend, and we had a session the following Monday, and he was like, "Jen, I didn't take my Herbalia on vacation." He's
Oh,
like,
so do you have travel? Do you have travel
"I
size?
do."
Oh,
I do.
amazing. I
But
love
yeah,
it.
he was like, "I had to use the hotel shit," and he's like, "I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again." He's like, "I didn't even realize what a difference that it was making on my face and on his beard and in his hair until he had to use something else." And then he was like, "Never again." So that was a good feeling.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I am really excited to try this product out.
I'm really
And
excited to send it to you.
yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing everything. This is, I think, one of my favorite podcasts. I probably shouldn't say that on air. I really appreciate you sharing your story and everything that you've been through and being brave and courageous and leaning in to being seen and being heard and creating a product that can change people's lives and getting them on a new holistic path and
Yeah.
recovery. Because it's like, yeah, like, especially for women, like, our hair is so important to us, and just
Mhm.
feeling so good in our body and how we
Yes.
radiate our glow and being able to be in that mindset of health. And, the beauty industry really messes with us, right? It really does. It messes with me, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm super holistic, but I also want Botox, right? Because it's like I wanna I want I wanna put neurotoxins in my face even though I will not eat, any chemicals.
You know what? Neurotoxins are there are different levels of them, so I don't want you to feel bad about using Botox. Well, I use Botox for treatment in other areas of my body for my muscle spasticity, for my MS, rather than taking the disease modifying treatments that affect all of my systems because the neurotoxins for the Botox are injected directly in that muscle. They don't leave that muscle. They don't do anything but act as a paralytic to that muscle. And so I don't want you to feel like like
A
that's
hypocrite?
I don't because for me, I think that's the better option because the Botox doesn't give me brain fog. It doesn't give me diarrhea. It doesn't make me vomit. It doesn't make me lose my hair. It doesn't make me have all these symptoms that the DMTs are 100% guaranteed to give me. But it does help with my spasticity so that I can walk, so that I can exercise, so that I can lift weights to take care of my body. And that's what I need. So don't you feel bad about your
Great,
Botox.
I'm gonna go get Botox with
I'm gonna go get
confidence
a
in
full
health.
syringe right now.
Yes,
I
yes.
love it.
So good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so where can people find you if
All
they
right.
want your
So,
product?
website. Yes,
Okay,
website is the easiest place to purchase. So it's www.herbalia.com, herbalya.com. And then I'm on socials, Facebook and Insta is Herbalia Hair Care Company.
awesome. And I'll put those in the show notes so it's really easy for people to link, click, whatever they can find you.
Perfect.
So I have one more question for you. What would be something that our listeners could do right now in the next 24 hours that could start the change of their life right now?
Oh, Lord.
No pressure.
I think that we already kind of touched on it a little bit, and that is the power of positivity. And that is the biggest swing that my heart and my soul had to take. I'm going to cry to
Go
start.
for it.
I'm like, sorry, I feel it. It's coming. That's the biggest shift that I have had to make and that I still have to make. I still have to choose that every day. And it changes the trajectory of each day individually. And the only way that you can have change, like big change, is by doing it, looking at it like that. Break it down. You don't have to be amazing every day. You don't. You don't even have to do big things every day because I certainly don't. It has taken me 2 years to get as far as I am because I still have to put my health at the forefront of my life. But when I feel good, I make a list of 5 things I'm going to do and I do them. And then I let myself feel good about the things I got done. And there's times when I don't. And my friend is going, "Did you celebrate yourself today?" And I'm
Yes,
like, "God
so
damn it, no,
important.
I didn't. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to go do that right now." So, power of
Absolutely.
positivity and celebrating yourself. It will take you miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of celebrating yourself because what happens is we get in the gap and we're like, "Oh my gosh, I have so much further to go."
Yes.
And then we lose momentum.
Stop
But
looking
when
at
you
the
look
end
how
game.
far you've come, when you
Stop
look
looking at
how
the
far
end
you've
game
come,
and enjoy the journey.
yeah, and be
Yeah.
so proud of yourself. Be so proud of yourself.
I mean, I'm trying, but it's just like, you know, I don't look at myself as like that I'm doing something so that I can be proud. I'm just trying to do something so I don't have to live off Social Security the rest of my life. I don't have to accept being a disabled person. I don't have to, I can show my children that you can still live a big life even with a debilitating disease. And so I can continue to help people because that's what I set out to do in my career anyway. And I love it. It was just a great path for me to take, and I'm so glad that I'm on it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
totally celebrating you. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here today. It was
Thank
such an
you.
honor. You are such a gift to the world.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be back soon. I'll have you back on for sure. Thank
I'm
you so
excited.
much. Are you ready to take your business and life to the next level? If you've been feeling stuck or like you're hustling without seeing the growth you desire, it might be time to step into what you're fully capable of. That's exactly why I created the Level Up Like a Boss signature program. It's designed to help entrepreneurs like you align your actions with your potential, master your inner world, and create a future that feels both purposeful and profitable. In this program, we'll dive deep into mastering belief systems, building self-awareness, and making intentional decisions that move the needle. Imagine finally being in alignment with your vision and your actions. If that resonates, head to my website or check out the link in the show notes to learn more about how we can level up like a boss together.